We were surprised how important these small and boring things are. No one ever talks about boring stuff like this. Maybe that's why we also had to learn from our mistakes.
Hi, and welcome to Hi.
Rabbit.
Got a toad, don't it? Hello, and welcome to lesson number 10.
Today we're going to talk about what no one talks about. These little super important things that you have to remember. Not glamorous or anything, but important. Everything today will make your travel easier in the future. You won't be surprised about any stupid little things that you'd forgotten. So you have to listen today.
Our first mistake was insurance. How are we going to insure or have an insurance that would cover everywhere we went? Hello. And how much did it cover and for how long? We had a long talk with our insurance company and we were sure that everything was in order. But as we went along, 3 months in, we had a break-in, and it was actually 3.5 months in, and we contacted them and they said that we were only insured for 3 months out of the country, and that was a bummer. That was really expensive, and so that you don't do the same mistake, it's important that you ask your insurance company or even go find an insurance company that covers exactly the things that you're going to do in your traveling.
It's not even enough to talk with the insurance company, because I talked to the lady and I told her about us traveling without a plan and without a time limit, and she was thrilled, and she was talking about how much she would love to do this, and that is fantastic, and so where are you going, and she had all the details, and she also knew that we were going traveling for more than 3 months. So I figured, of course we're covered by our insurance if anything should happen. But when the day came, we were informed that we were only covered for 3 months. And I tried to tell them, but I talked to the lady and she said it was fantastic and she knew it, and they would look for the recording of our telephone conversation, but all of a sudden they couldn't find it. So it's not enough that you have talked to somebody about it, you have to have it in writing. So that's what you're gonna do. You have to have everything, every deal you make, you have to have it in writing.
And make sure that the insurance company knows where you're traveling to and how you're traveling, so they can get all the little things that you might need in your insurance to be covered. We lost about $10,000-12,000 worth of merchandise.
Yeah, 10,000-12,000 euros. That was pretty expensive, and that was a lot of things that we could have seen, but instead we had to buy new equipment.
Yeah.
So don't make the same mistake we made. It cost us a lot of money, and to be honest, the same thing happened 1 month later, and at that time the thing with the insurance company wasn't resolved. So by the second break-in we had, we didn't even contact the insurance company. We just took it as a loss, and it was a huge loss, both because these things that was stolen was mainly electronics and our cameras and computers and everything, of course, things that we needed on our travel, but also it was a lot of money that we had to spend on getting new ones, 2 times actually. So that has been a huge cut in our travel plans. And besides that, we had to find computers in a foreign country we had to find in Italy and in France. Spoke another language, and the computer setup was different, and so on. But mainly the economy in it was horrible. So make sure to get everything from your insurance company in writing.
Yeah. Lesson of the day.
That's an important lesson.
An important lesson.
Expensive lesson.
Yeah. Might take some time to talk to all these people, all these companies, but trust me, it's worth it.
It's also worth it because you feel that when you leave, everything is in order.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to think about these things anymore. There will be plenty of things to think about, but these things that are important and that might cost you money, or you can save some money on them, or all the things that we have to do. Everybody has been telling us ever since we were 18 years old or something. But all these things, make sure they are in order, and you can sleep at night without worrying about it.
And actually feel free while you're traveling, because everything is in order.
Yeah. Another important thing is health insurance. In Denmark, we are covered through taxes, and it costs us nothing to go to the hospital or the doctor or anything. But again, if we stay away from the country too long, we're not covered anymore. So you have to think about health insurance, because it's super important that you are covered if something should happen to you, or you get the flu or anything. So we're traveling in the EU, so it's not that big of a problem, because they're the same rules, and they just sent the bill to Denmark. But full coverage, that's not something that we have anymore. So you have to make an insurance to cover that.
And that again depends on, are you going to Australia, are you going to Canada, or EU, or the Eastern countries. It all depends on where you're going and what you're doing while you're going.
And insurance and phone companies are not easy. You will find out there are not many solutions for people who are traveling, because especially insurance companies are way behind, because they don't really suit travelers. They suit people who stay home or travel a little bit, but digital nomads and other kinds of travelers, they don't have many options to be insured, and the options that are there are rather expensive or doesn't cover that much. So at the moment you have to find an insurance that covers you, but it won't be as good as you might wish it was. So
and maybe along the way you need to change your insurance company. Depends on how you're traveling again.
Exactly. And are you staying longer time in one country? Right now we are staying in Spain, and have Spain as a base. So you have made health insurance in Spain
down here,
yeah, and I'm going to make one too. So things change all the time, and you have to adapt. But from home, please take a look at these little things, because they are so important, and they can bring you so much trouble later on if you find out too late, like our insurance when we were broken into in the autocamper.
Yeah.
From home, it's also useful if you check up on where do I go in a specific country if something should happen to me. Let's talk about the health insurance again. If I have to go to the doctor, how will this health insurance work, and what do I say when I get to the emergency room or the doctor, and what papers do I give them, and how does all this work, or where do I go if I need to go to the dentist? Is the dentist also covered, and is it only a few dentists that are covered that has to be in some sort of union or something? But make sure that you know all these things, because if you get hurt, you really don't have the energy to check up on all this before you go to the doctor. So make sure everything is in order. We have both been to the ER in Spain, and it was very comforting to know exactly what we had to do, so we didn't have to think about anything before we left for the ER. Also, when you left, that I didn't have to think about anything, and the other way around, so we could just get treated on the ER without any problems.
Yeah. And even your phone provider is money to be saved. You might need another subscription from your phone provider, and that's also a great idea to look in different companies, because one company is not that expensive if you're going abroad. The others are maybe cheaper if you're doing all the traveling in your country. It's, again, money saved is money earned for your traveling.
And you also have to check out if you can travel at all with your phone provider, and if it makes sense, because we found out that because of some crazy EU rule, you can only be roaming for 6 months out of a year. For us, it made no sense to keep our current provider. We have our old numbers, our old Danish numbers, but only at a minimum of payment, so we just keep them instead of letting them go. But right now we are on a Spanish telephone number and Spanish data for our phones and computer and everything. So you really have to look at what are the rules and what will do the best for me.
Yeah, and that again depends on how long time are you planning on traveling at a time. It might not be a problem if you're just for 1 month or 2 months, but if you're going for a longer time, for 6 months or a year, it would be a very good idea to seek out the best deals you can get.
Actually, all the little things you have to consider today is probably the things that you are in some way paying for today. That might be fees in your bank or your insurance, whether it's health insurance or insurance on your house, or it may be as it was for us. We were both members of the union. That would pay us if we were unemployed. So we had to think about and ask, how are the rules in the union? If we go outside, can we pause this union and still get money if we get home, or is there a rule that says that it's not possible? And we found out that we could pause the union for a year, and then all the hours that we have put into the union, they would be gone. So for us, it made no sense to keep on being in the union, because we had to earn new hours if we came home after 2 years anyway. So we went out of the union, because otherwise we would just pay every month to something that we couldn't use anyway. So that's one of the small things you have to think about too.
Another thing is your money that you're traveling with. Go to the bank and make several accounts. One you can have a credit card on, but also it was important for us to our savings. We had a special account for the savings that we could transfer money to the accounts where we had the card. So if it got stolen, we didn't get all our money stolen at once.
So we have what we call a big account, and then we each have a credit card with our name on it that we transfer money to from the big account. And also we made a rule in the bank that a large amount of money transferred from the big account.
It was not possible.
It wasn't possible unless we contacted the bank ourselves.
Yeah.
So that way we have secured that if we lose our card or if it gets stolen, that all our money is not gonna disappear.
So we didn't have to sew it into our pillow or have it in our socks and hide money everywhere. It's not that good to have a lot of cash with you. You should have a little cash, because you might get somewhere where they don't take the credit card, but make sure you don't have too much cash.
I've heard a lot of people actually having this "what about my money" issue, and they have followed our advice about these 3 accounts, because it's pretty smart. Actually, we made an appointment in the bank right from the beginning, because we had to get some terms that were great for us, and the way that we were gonna live. So we negotiated with the bank about great terms for us, and if you can't negotiate with your bank, then find another bank, because there's somebody who's willing to serve you because you are a customer. So we negotiated that we didn't have to pay any fees when we are using our Danish credit cards in other countries. Normally there's some sort of fee on that, but we negotiated that this fee would disappear. Of course, we still have a fee if we withdraw cash, but the other thing is great because we use our credit cards all the time.
And if you ask different banks, you'll be aware of they have different fees on the different cards. Do you have a Visa or do you have a Mastercard, or what do you travel with? And that is very important you get, because everything you save is just more for your traveling.
Exactly. So you might as well do something that benefits you, or you have to do that, because again, this is your life. So what gives you the best terms, that's important. And of course you can negotiate with the bank, everybody can, also about interests and fees and yearly fees and
Yeah.
Also important to think about what kind of card do I have, how many countries can I use my card in, because it's no use that you have some sort of special card that is okay in your own country, but then when you get to the country in some foreign land, you can't really use it. That's bummer if you stand there and you can't buy anything because your card is not a normal card. So also consider these things.
You might even want 2 different cards, maybe a Visa and a Mastercard, because some countries they do not have Visa all the way around and they only take Mastercards. And the good thing about having a Visa is you can limit the amount that can be withdrawn from your card every day, so you don't overspend, or if it gets stolen, it doesn't take that much money out of your savings.
Yeah, we've been to gas stations and really needed some gas, and then they didn't take Visa, and luckily we had the Mastercard.
And that was just like a backup.
Yeah.
We had the Mastercard for backup for places where they don't take Visa, and because we do not travel with that much cash on us. And all these small fees and all these extra money you might give out unnecessary, these are money taken from your travel banking or your travel savings. So anywhere you can find to save some money only gives you more money in your traveling bank.
So all the little things that cost you money today, all the little bills that you pay for every month, they are probably something that you have to consider before you leave. And you have to think, do I leave it as it is now, or do I change it, or do I simply quit this payment, or what do I do? Every little thing when you look at your bank account, that is something you have to consider. It is boring, and it takes a long time, and it takes a long time to talk to all the companies, but it will sure be worth it in the end. So now you have some work to do.
Yeah.
Head on over, check out your bank account, and check what it is that you pay for every month, and anything else you can think about, and get those things fixed, because you'll be happy later.
Yeah.
And it's all about you being happy.
Exactly.
Bye for now.
Bye.
This will take some time, and you'll be surprised how many things you have attached to you. But your work here, it will be rewarded.